At 2:13 a.m., a single phone call changed everything. A body on the floor, and two words written in blood. I know. Are you ready to uncover the truth? Welcome to a story of mystery, fear, and a murder that was never meant to be solved. Before this video begins, let me ask you something. What if your past came back, not to haunt you, but to kill you? This isn't just a murder story. This is a secret buried for 12 years. Welcome to the dark side of truth. This case was so dangerous. The killer was hiding inside the police department. An innocent woman, a hidden past, and a truth so shocking, it changes everything. Watch till the end, because the final twist will leave you speechless. Stories, white paint, warm porch light still glowing as if nothing had happened. Police tape fluttered like a warning. Inside, chaos. Furniture overturned, glass shattered, a lamp flickered in the corner, and in the center of the living room, a woman, late 30s, blonde hair matted with blood, eyes wide open, frozen in terror. Ethan crouched beside her. No signs of forced entry, Officer Daniels said behind him. Ethan nodded slowly, so she knew her killer. Her name was Laura Bennett, a school teacher, no known enemies. To the world, she was ordinary. To Ethan, that made it worse. Ordinary people didn't die like this. Something was off. Ethan scanned the room carefully. Something didn't fit. There was violence, but also precision. The wounds were controlled, intentional, not rage, not panic. This was planned. Then he saw it, on the wall just above the blood splatter, written in red. I know. Ethan froze. Whoever did this, he muttered, was sending a message. The husband, Mark Bennett, was found sitting outside on the curb, wrapped in a blanket, shaking, not crying, just staring. Ethan approached slowly. Mr. Bennett? No response. Mark. Finally the man blinked. They told me to stay outside, he whispered. Who told you? Mark swallowed hard. I don't know, I didn't see his face. The story doesn't add up. Inside the patrol car, Mark gave his statement. I woke up, heard something downstairs, he said. And? Ethan asked. I came down, saw someone standing over her. I froze. You didn't try to help? I couldn't move. Ethan leaned forward. And the attacker? Tall, wearing black. I think maybe a mask. It all happened so fast. Ethan sat back, studying him. Too fast or too rehearsed? The first clue. Back inside, forensic techs were finishing their sweep. No fingerprints, one of them said. Clean job. Not completely, another voice called. Ethan turned. A young tech held up a small object in a plastic bag. A silver pendant, engraved with a single letter, E. Ethan frowned. Was it hers? The tech shook his head. Doesn't match anything in the house. Ethan stared at it. The first real clue, or a planted distraction. The neighbor. At 4:15 a.m., Ethan knocked on the neighbor's door. An elderly woman answered, wrapped in a robe. Did you hear anything tonight? He asked. She hesitated. Yes, around 2. I heard arguing. From next door? She nodded. A man and a woman. Could you make out what they were saying? She swallowed. The woman kept saying, you shouldn't have come here. Ethan felt a chill. And the man? The old woman's voice dropped. He said, it's too late now. A secret life. By morning, the investigation deepened. Laura Bennett wasn't as ordinary as she seemed. Her phone revealed something surprising. Hundreds of messages. From an unknown number. The texts were short, cryptic. Do you remember? We need to talk. We can't hide forever. Ethan leaned back in his chair. Looks like she had a past, he said. The missing piece. One thing was missing. No sign of struggle near the front door. No forced entry. No alarms triggered. Which meant one thing. The silent witness. Part 2. Shadows of the past. The sun rose over the quiet suburb. But for Detective Ethan Cole, the night had never ended. He sat at his desk, staring at Laura Bennett's phone. Those messages. They weren't random. They were personal. Someone knew her. Someone was hunting her. The unknown number. Trace it, Ethan said, sliding the phone across to the tech analyst. Already trying, she replied. But it's masked. Burner phone. Ethan exhaled slowly. Of course it is. Professional. Careful. This wasn't a random killer. Mark Bennett, something hidden. Ethan called Mark in for a second interview. This time, no sympathy. Your neighbor heard arguing, Ethan said bluntly. Mark froze. I told you I didn't hear everything. Not everything. Just enough. Who was in your house last night? Mark snapped. Silence filled the room. Ethan didn't blink. Then why was your wife afraid of someone? Mark's hands trembled. I don't know anything about that. Ethan slammed the table lightly. Stop lying. Mark flinched. For a moment it looked like he would break. But then, he shook his head. I already told you everything. Ethan leaned back. Not yet. But soon, the pendant, letter E. The silver pendant sat in an evidence bag under the bright light. E. Ethan kept staring at it. Names ran through his mind. Emily, Evan, Eric, or Ethan. He frowned. Coincidence? Or something more personal? Laura's workplace. Laura Bennett taught at a local elementary school. Quiet, respected, loved by students. Ethan walked into her classroom. Everything looked normal. Too normal, until he opened her desk drawer. Inside, a locked journal. The journal. Back at the station, they forced it open. Inside were handwritten entries. Messy, rushed, fearful. He found me, after all these years. He's back. I thought I could escape. If anything happens to me, it's because of him. Ethan's jaw tightened. A name appears. The last few pages revealed something crucial. A name. Barely written. Like she was afraid even to write it. Elliot Vance. Ethan repeated it quietly. Elliot Vance. Run it, he ordered. The past uncovered. Within minutes, the system returned results. Elliot Vance. Age 42. Criminal history. Fraud, identity theft, and one more thing. Suspected in a disappearance case 12 years ago. The victim, a young woman, never found. Connection to Laura. Ethan's mind raced. Dig deeper, he said. A second file opened. Laura Bennett. Maiden name Laura Hayes. Ethan's eyes widened. Laura Hayes. She was connected to that old case. Not just connected. She was a witness. The truth begins to form. 12 years ago, Laura testified against Elliot Vance. After that, he disappeared. No arrest, no closure. And now, he was back. But something didn't fit. If Elliot Vance came for revenge, why wait 12 years? Why now? And how did he find her? Surveillance footage. A breakthrough came from a nearby gas station. Grainy footage. Time 1:47 a.m. A man in black, tall, face partially hidden, but one detail stood out. Around his neck. Without a pendant. Ethan's realization. Ethan stared at the screen, then at the evidence photo. The pendant. It had been torn off. During the struggle. The first suspect. Put out an alert, Ethan said, for Elliot Vance. But deep down, he wasn't convinced. Something felt off. Too clean. Too obvious. The twist begins. That evening, Ethan received a call from the forensic team. You need to see this. He rushed down. What is it? The tech hesitated. The blood on the wall, the message. I know, Ethan said. Yes, but what? The tech looked at him. It wasn't written by the killer. Ethan's heart skipped. Then who wrote it? The answer came slowly. Pause. The Silent Witness, Part 3, The Man Who Returned. Detective Ethan Cole didn't believe in coincidences. And this case was full of them. Too many. A dead woman. A message written in blood. A name from 12 years ago. Elliot Vance. But something still didn't sit right. Tracking Elliot Vance. Any hits? Ethan asked, walking into the tech room. The analyst nodded. We might have something. A map lit up on the screen. A credit card flagged under a fake identity, used 2 days ago. Location? She zoomed in. A motel just off Highway 41. Ethan grabbed his jacket. Let's go. The motel. The place smelled like cheap smoke and bad decisions. Room 214. Ethan knocked once. No answer. He signaled the officers. Break it. The door slammed open. Inside. But not abandoned. The bed was still warm. A bag lay open on the floor. Inside it, photos. Ethan picked one up. Laura Bennett. Outside her house. Another. Laura at school. Another. Laura at a grocery store. His jaw tightened. She was being watched. For days. Maybe weeks. The mirror message, then something strange. Written on the mirror in black marker. You're too late. Ethan stepped closer. His reflection stared back at him. But the message wasn't for him. It was for the police. A close escape. Check the back, Ethan shouted. They rushed outside. A witness spoke up. Yeah, I saw a guy, tall, ran out like 5 minutes ago. Which way? Toward the highway. Ethan clenched his fist. Missed him. Again. Back to Mark Bennett. Ethan returned to the station, frustration building. Time to push harder. Mark Bennett sat in the interrogation room again. This time he looked worse. Tired, sweaty, nervous. Ethan placed the photos on the table. Recognize these? Ethan asked. Mark shook his head quickly. No, I've never seen those. Your wife was being followed, Ethan said coldly. And you didn't notice? I swear I didn't know. Ethan leaned in. You're either blind or lying. The breaking point. Mark's breathing became heavy. I loved her, he suddenly shouted. Then help me, Ethan snapped back. Silence. I think she was hiding something, Mark whispered. Ethan's eyes sharpened. What kind of something? She would get calls late at night and leave the room. Did you ever ask her? Yes, but she said it was nothing. Ethan sat back. Not nothing. The hidden account. Financial records revealed something new. Laura Bennett had a second bank account. Secret. Hidden from her husband. Transactions went back months. Regular withdrawals. Cash. Large amounts. One officer suggested. Or payment. For what? Ethan didn't answer. Not yet. The old case file. Ethan reopened the 12-year-old file. The disappearance linked to Elliot Vance. Victim. Samantha Reed. Age 24. Last seen with Elliot Vance. Laura Hayes Bennett had testified. But her testimony wasn't strong enough. Elliot walked free. And Samantha? Gone. A disturbing detail. Ethan flipped through the file again, then froze. There was something he missed before. Another witness. A minor one. Name barely mentioned. Everything changes. Ethan stared at the file, then at the photo of Mark. His pulse quickened. Mark wasn't just a husband. 12 years ago, at the beginning of everything. Confrontation. Ethan stormed into the interrogation room. Mark looked up, startled. You knew Elliot Vance, Ethan said. Mark's face went pale. No, don't lie. Ethan slammed the file down. You were at the scene 12 years ago. Mark's hands started shaking uncontrollably. I didn't have a choice. Ethan froze. Choice in what? I saw what happened. The room went silent. The truth starts to crack. What did you see? Ethan demanded. Mark shut his eyes. 12 years ago, I was there. When Samantha disappeared, Ethan leaned closer. And, Mark whispered, Elliot, the silent witness. Part 4, the second shadow. The room felt smaller, heavier, like the truth itself was pressing down on the walls. Mark Bennett sat trembling, his hands covering his face. Detective Ethan Cole stood still, waiting. One sentence had changed everything. Elliot wasn't alone. Another 12 years ago. Start talking, Ethan said quietly. Mark took a deep, shaky breath. It was a party, small, just a few people, he began. That's when I met Elliot. Ethan didn't interrupt, and Samantha Reed was there too. His voice cracked. He was arguing with Elliot. Something about money, or secrets, I don't know. What happened next? Samantha, watching. No, but she wasn't scared. She was calm, like she'd done this before. Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. And then, Mark swallowed hard. Elliot grabbed Samantha, and the woman, she handed him something. A weapon? Ethan asked. Mark nodded. I turned away. I couldn't watch. And when I looked back, his voice broke. Samantha was gone. Why stay silent? Ethan's eyes hardened. You saw all this and said nothing. Mark looked at him, blinking. I was scared. They saw me. Both of them? Ethan asked. Mark nodded. The woman looked right at me, like she knew, like she was warning me. And Laura? Ethan asked. Mark's face twisted with guilt. She saw it too. Laura's secret. Ethan's mind raced. So Laura wasn't just a witness, he said slowly. She was part of it, from the beginning. Mark nodded weakly. Both gave statements. Yes. Mark's voice dropped. Mark shook his head. No, not him. Ethan leaned closer. Then who? Mark looked up, eyes wide, terrified. The woman, present day, returned. Ethan stepped back, processing. So 12 years later, Elliot comes back. Mark shook his head again. No, not just him. Ethan froze. You think she's back too? Mark's voice trembled. I don't think she ever left. The hidden pattern. Ethan rushed out, heading straight to the evidence building. Photos, names, dates, he started connecting everything. Laura's secret bank account. Payments, messages, fear. This isn't revenge. Then, what isn't? Ethan turned. It's control. New theory. What if Elliot isn't the mastermind? He said. What if he's just following orders? Silence filled the room. From who? Someone asked. Ethan looked at Laura's journal. The trembling hand, the fear between the lines. He said, the woman, the breakthrough. Just then, detectives rushed in. Detective, Ethan turned. Listen, I pulled something from Laura's illegal emails. She made me. And from that, his expression changed instantly. The email, subject, final payment, message, we've done well staying quiet all these years. Silence isn't enough anymore. We need closure. Meet us tonight. Alone. Ethan's pulse went. Date, the night of the murder. The trap reviewed. She didn't let him in, Ethan said suddenly. What? The analyst asked. Ethan looked up. She was called. Lured into. By Elliot? She asked. Ethan shook his head slowly. No. His voice turned cold. By her. The name emerged. Can you trace the email? Ethan asked. Already. Patient? She hesitated. Then said, sent from inside the city. Where? Ethan demanded. She turned the screen toward him. An address appeared. Ethan stared at it. His blood ran cold. Too close to him. The location wasn't random. It wasn't wrong. It wasn't big. Here it is, part 5. The silent witness, part 5. Inside the system. Detective Ethan Cole stood frozen. Police precinct. You know who were to their death came from inside the system. Dangerous realization. Run it again, Ethan said quietly. The analyst hesitated. I already did. It's clean. Nothing about this is clean, Ethan replied. The room fell silent. If someone inside the department was involved, this case had just become deadly in a whole new way. Trust no one. Ethan walked back into the bullpen, his eyes scanning every office. Familiar faces. People he had worked with for years. People he trusted, or thought he did. Now, every single one of them was a suspect. Narrowing it down. Who had access to that terminal? The analyst pulled up a list. Limited personnel, senior staff and detectives. People lived in Las Vegas. 5 people, one of them could be the woman. Profile Ethan returned to the board and started building a profile. Calm under pressure. Manipulative. This isn't just a killer, he muttered. It's a plan. He's already wanted, the officer said. Now he's bait. The first suspect, Detective Sarah Blake. Ethan stared at the list. One name stood out. Detective Sarah Blake. Sharp, experienced, quiet, and she had worked cold cases, including the Samantha Lee file. A subtle test. Ethan approached her desk. Sarah, he said casually. She looked up. Yeah. You ever hear of Elliot Vance? Sounds familiar, she said. Just digging over the file. Her eyes held his for just a second too long. Then she looked away. Something isn't right. Ethan walked off, his mind racing. Was it her? Or was he seeing things that weren't there? He needed proof. Not instincts. The security footage. Full internal cameras, Ethan told the analyst. From last night. He scanned hours of footage. Officers coming and going. Nothing unusual. So, wait, he said. They rewound. Zoomed in. There. At 11:42 p.m. A figure entering the tech room. Face partially naked, but the posture, walk, even recognized the real, almost, handsome. The image sharpened slightly, just enough. The person turned their head for a split second. The screen suddenly went black. Data wiped. Ethan snapped. The file, it's gone. Gone. Deleted. Removed. Ethan slammed the desk. They're watching us. The game changes. Whoever it was, they knew Ethan was getting close. And they weren't afraid. That meant one thing. They were confident. Dangerously confident. A message arrives. Ethan's phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text message. You're asking the wrong questions. His jaw tightened. Another message followed. If you want the truth, come along. Then, an address. Trap tightens. Ethan stared at the screen. This was it. The moment every instinct warned him about. The setup, the trap, but also the chance. Mark's final warning. Mark looked up weakly. They contacted you, didn't they? He whispered. Ethan didn't answer. Mark grabbed his arm. Don't go alone. That's what they want. Ethan gently pulled away. Sometimes, he said quietly, you don't get a choice. The location. An abandoned warehouse. Edge of the city. Dark. Silent. Ethan stepped inside. Gun drawn. Hello? He called out. His voice echoed. Then, a slow clap. From the shadows. The woman appears. A figure stepped forward. Calm. Confident. Exactly as Mark described. Her face partially hidden in the dim light. You're late, detective, she said. Ethan raised his gun. End of the line. She smiled. No. This is just the beginning. End of part 5. The mastermind has finally stepped out of the shadows. But her identity, still not fully revealed. The warehouse was silent. Too silent. Dust floated in the air, illuminated by a single broken light above. Detective Ethan Cole stood still, gun raised. Across from him, the woman. Calm, unshaken, in control. Face to face. Who are you? Ethan demanded. The woman stepped closer, her footsteps echoing slowly. You've been chasing me for days, she said softly. Don't you recognize me yet? Ethan's grip tightened. Take off the mask. She smiled faintly. Then, without hesitation, she pulled it away. The reveal, Ethan's eyes widened. For a split second, he couldn't speak. It was someone he knew. Someone he had seen. Someone he had trusted. Sarah, he whispered. Detective Sarah Blake. Smart, Sarah said calmly. But, a little slow. Ethan shook his head slightly, disbelief washing over him. You've been behind all of this? All of it, she replied. No, Elliot Vance is just a tool, she cut in. Elliot appears from the darkness behind her. A second figure stepped forward. Tall, worn, eyes cold. Ethan raised his gun again. Elliot Vance. Elliot gave a faint smile. Long-time detective. The truth about the past. Ethan looked between them. 12 years ago, Samantha Reed. Sarah's expression didn't change. She was a problem, Sarah said simply. A liability. Ethan's voice hardened. So you killed her. Elliot chuckled quietly. Sarah shot him a glance. Enough. Control and power. Ethan's mind raced. You controlled everything, he said. Even the investigation. Sarah nodded slightly. Power isn't about force, Ethan. It's about patience. Why Laura had to die. And Laura, Ethan demanded. She stayed quiet for 12 years. Sarah's eyes darkened, but fear fades. She started asking questions, thinking about telling the truth. So you silenced her, Ethan said. Yes, no hesitation, no guilt. Mark's role. And Mark? Ethan asked. Sarah smiled faintly. He was always weak. He saw too much, but never had the courage to act. Ethan clenched his jaw. So you let him live? For now, she said. The real twist. Ethan took a slow step forward. This isn't just about covering up a murder, he said. There's more. Sarah's smile grew slightly. Of course there is. The network. You think this ends with us? She asked. Ethan didn't answer. It doesn't, she continued. There are others. People in power. People who make problems disappear. Ethan felt the weight of her words. This was bigger. Much bigger. The offer. Sarah stepped closer, lowering her voice. You're good, Ethan. Smart. Relentless. She tilted her head slightly. Join us. Ethan's eyes hardened instantly. No. Sarah sighed softly. That's disappointing. She stepped back. Then you leave me no choice. Ethan's instincts screamed. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The trap springs. Suddenly a loud click echoed behind him. Ethan froze, a gun pressed against the back of his head. A third person, hidden until now. No way out, drop it, a voice whispered. Ethan slowly lowered his weapon. It hit the ground. Sarah smiled. Game over, detective. The cliffhanger. Ethan stood still, outnumbered, outplayed, surrounded by killers. But his mind, still working, still searching, still fighting, because one thing didn't add up. Here is the final part, part 7 of your murder investigation story. The Silent Witness, part 7, the last move. The cold metal of the gun pressed against Ethan Cole's head. One wrong move, and it was over. But Ethan didn't panic. He never did. The third person, turn around slowly, the voice behind him said. Ethan obeyed. As he turned, his eyes widened slightly. It wasn't a stranger, it was someone from the department, Officer Daniels. The final betrayal. Sorry, detective, Daniels said quietly. Ethan let out a slow breath. So it really is inside the system. Sarah smiled. Now you understand. The complete truth. Ethan knew it all clearly. Sarah prayed. Ellie Vance. Officer Daniels. A perfect triangle. Sarah nodded. Drop your weapons. Voices echoed from outside. Dozens of officers surrounded the warehouse. Guns aimed. No escape. Daniels panicked slightly. What is this? Ethan smiled faintly. Insurance. The final attempt. Elliot reacted first. He lunged for his weapon. Shot rang out. Dropped instantly. Not dead, but down. Daniels froze, then slowly dropped his gun. Sarah's last statement. Sarah didn't move. She looked at Ethan, almost impressed. "We planned this," she said softly. Ethan nodded. "I stopped trusting you when I saw that email trace." Sarah gave a small, cold smile. "Good. The end of the game." She slowly raised her hands, but her eyes never left Ethan's. "This isn't over," she said quietly. "There are others." Ethan stepped closer. "Then we'll find them." Aftermath. Weeks later, the case shook the entire department. Internal investigations began. Old cases reviewed. Corruption exposed. Sarah Blake was charged. Daniels too. Only Dan survived. Finally confessed. Mark sat in the quiet room, free at last. Not innocent, but no longer hiding. The truth came out, Ethan told him. Mark nodded slowly. Too late for war. Ethan didn't respond. Some things couldn't be fixed. The final piece. Ethan stood alone in Rebecca's grave. Rain moved softly through the trees. He tried to tell the truth, said quietly. It cost you everything. He placed the silver pendant on the grave. One mark. It was never ever. It stood for something else. Efforts. One thing they feared most. Silence. Laura Bennett never survived. In the end she spoke. Her clues, fear. One final message. Final line. Protect all make sure. The silence was final.